In this video, we're going to be solving basic quadratic equations of the form x squared equals a using the square root property. All right. So here, sometimes with these pretty simple quadratic equations, if we're given one of the form, let's just say given x squared equals a. Okay. If a is a positive number. Okay, this only works if a is a positive number, then x is equal to plus or minus the square root of a. Or we can write this using commas as x equals square root of a and the negative square root of a. Okay? Keeping in mind the negative is on the outside. That part of this is very important here. Okay? So we can always write this as x equals the square root of a square root of negative a. Or negative square root of a. Sorry. So here, let's take a look at our first example. We have x squared equals 50. Okay, so to solve this, we know right away from this property, we have x is going to be equal to positive square root of 50 and a negative square root of 50. But we can actually rewrite the square root of 50. So the square root of 50 can be written as, so square root of 50 is equal to, we could think of this also as the square root of 25 times 2. Or we could think of this as the square root of 25 times the square root of 2. Or we can just think of this as 5 times the square root of 2, because the square root of 25 is just 5. So therefore, a more complete, a more simplified answer would be equal to, or would have x equal to 5 times the square root of 2 and negative 5 times the square root of 2. Okay? And that's because we can rewrite the square root of 50 in each of these instances. Okay, let's take a look at this one. X squared equals 80. So given our property, we know that we can write x equal to the square root of 80 and negative square root of 80. Okay, but I think we could simplify this one a little bit. So we know that if we can factor 80. So if we wanted to do that, we could let's go ahead and do that. So the factors of 80. Okay, so we have obviously plus or minus 1. We'll just do positive now, so I don't have to write plus or minus for each of these, but just know that they're plus or minus as well. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 4, we have 5, we have not 7, we have 8, obviously. We have 10. We have, let's see, oh, 16, okay. We have, let's see, 20. We're going to have, let's see, and 40, obviously, and then we'll have 80 itself, okay? So we could rewrite this quite simply as the, I guess we could then rewrite x is equal to, well, let's do this. Let's rewrite the square root of 80 is equal to the square root of 16 and 5. Okay, so the square root of 16 times 5. And the reason we're doing this is so we can simplify this square root as much as possible. Okay, get it down into smallest terms. Okay, so we can then rewrite this as the square root of 16 times the square root of 5, which is equal to 4 times the square root of 5. Okay, and therefore we can actually write our answer as 4 times the square root of 5 and negative 4 times the square root of 5. Okay, And if you didn't catch on here to what I was doing in this blue writing here, where I was trying to simplify the square root of 80, I was trying to rewrite 80 as a factor of two numbers where one of them, at least one of them, can be simplified into or it can be taken as a clean square root. Okay, so you'll notice that you can't cleanly take the square root of 80. If you take the square root of 80, you'll end up with like 8.9 something, and it goes on for a long time, right? This is not just some simple number here. You have to separate this into two. You don't have to, but you can if you want to make it simpler, into two separate numbers, where one of them simplifies to a nice clean square root. So the square root of 16 is 4, and that's why we did this. What you'll see here is in this next example is it doesn't always do that. In this case, what we'll find if we write the factors of 39. So factors of 39, we'll have 1, we'll have 3, we'll have, I believe, 13, and I think that's it if we include 39, okay? And unfortunately, none of these have a nice clean square root, except 1, but that's not really going to help us here. So in this case, we actually just have x is equal to positive square root of 39 and negative square root of 39. And that would be our final answer. So if you're ever given a quadratic equation in this simple of a form, you should be able to solve it quite simply using this basic square root property.